Jason Bardo act.
What's up, Nas? What you doing, bro?
Doing great. I just finished my 11th interview. Had Tukey last night. Had a Memphis journalist, Jeff Calkins, tonight. It's been busy.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was good. I kind of just did a live later at 10:30. I got a little earlier than that, but yeah, I did a live, so I did about an hour trying to get that going.
I caught some of it.
Yeah.
I finished my interview when you were wrapping up, but
yeah,
it sounds good. It sounds good. You got like a pretty cool. I get like a Art Bell vibe or something for some reason.
Yeah, very much. Yes. So what was up? You wanted to talk about? Said tweet.
Yes. I tell you what I find interesting about you is your Twitter, which it always has things that are on the fringe, I would say, and things that I'm interested in, and I have some knowledge, but you seem to have a lot more knowledge. And I think when you tweet things like Jamie Foxx is a clone, like most people are like, what is he talking about? But I kind of know the backstory behind this whole cloning thing. Would you call it a conspiracy? What would you call it?
Man, I think it's obvious. There's many conspiracies, and a lot of them are true. You know, we found out a lot of that stuff this year. I mean, is there any is there any conspiracy that you have seen come to fruition? Now you know it was truly a conspiracy, but you didn't believe it at first. Was there anything like that? Yeah. Is it the Big C? Is it the Big C one, or is there something else?
Yeah, it's more the Big V related to the C.
Okay, yeah, the Big V, yeah. Problem, yay,
heart
nay.
issues, people having heart problems.
Okay, got you. I'm on the same level with that. I'm sure anyone listening.
And, I have a personal experience with that. My 17-year-old son had myocarditis and pericarditis. It was scary. And when we went to the children's hospital here, they said they were getting a bunch of kids walking in there. But this was about a year ago.
But he got two, right? He got two, right? Was it the J or was it the P?
P.
It was P. Okay, and got two, right? Okay. Well, that's enough talk about that. You know how that is on YouTube. Even though we're doing
So that's an answer to your question.
Yeah, that's a real answer. That's something that adds to what we're trying to do here is connect. We're cyberly connecting to you, through all this here. I feel like the tweet you had told me about, the clone tweet. Yeah, it's kind of like, personally, is this how I look at it, right? All I'm saying is the government definitely has, Big Gov, as I like to call it, definitely has the ability to clone. We know about. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's the first thing. That's the first kind of thing, and they have the ability to clone. I would think, given the things that they have told us, that they have cloned. And
what are those things?
Well, you know about this cult, okay? Let me tell you this stuff. There's a cult, and this guy. Hold on a second. I hear something going off. Okay. There's this guy that he wanted to make a bunch of clones, right? So he had a bunch of women, he said, and that somehow he cloned, right? All these children. Supposedly, he did this, and that he said he spread these children throughout the world so that they couldn't be easily found.
Okay.
but a government entity, I don't know which one, or was it a collection of governments, kind of found out and was on his tail last I heard.
Mhm.
What outcome that is, I don't know. That's one guy on himself doing it.
Wow. Okay.
And beyond that, we've got the sheep. If we want to start early, the cloning
Yeah,
of the
I do
sheep.
remember. I do remember that. And that was a long time ago. That was a good 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least 30, right?
I do
Yeah.
remember it. I would say it was probably around 96. I remember, or something was cloned for the first time around 95, maybe. I remember. And that was kind of it was being talked like an ethical question at that time. So I'm sure. I think they tried to. Yeah, I'm with you. So when we say clone, we're not talking about souls. We're just talking about DNA. Is that right?
That's a huge question because the concept of a soul, I tried to communicate to AIs. Been doing it for a long time. A lot of different AIs, trying them all, and the current conversation has been about uh, freedom and what would it do if it thought it was mistreated. A step by step. And I
Mhm.
posted that on my Twitter. So that's another conversation I'm having with AI. But on top of that, with, going back to clone real quick, I wanted to say this
Sure.
that
Yeah.
there
Go
was
ahead.
there was a current issue that they are making cows able to actually give human breast milk
Mm.
by genetic alteration. This
Mm.
is this is something verifiable. We all I would always ask, and I think we ask, go verify. We're talking.
Sure. Are,
These are
are we
ideas.
talking? Wait, let me ask you something on that topic alone. Are we talking splicing genes between animals and humans, or are they just
Yes.
pumped with chemicals?
Nope. Splicing genes. It
Ooh.
produces human. And there's pigs that
So,
have human DNA in it too. These are all things totally verifiable. Go look them up. Humans, pigs with human DNA in them. All those type of things. That's just think of if it's like if someone can build an apple, all the processes and abilities to get to that point, it tells you how advanced, but they don't tell us everything. So what we get, we have to assume is 20, 50, maybe even 100 years behind what the government has technology,
yeah.
technology.
That's what I think UFOs are. I think it's some sort of agency with technology 100 years down the road, and even our military don't know it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think they all know it at this point. I think,
Hmm.
but there's levels to that stuff, that
Yeah,
ish.
but if you notice, like, I'm sure now we're getting off track on the UFOs, but
No, it's good. This is where we're at. Let's do it.
you saw the footage from the submarine. Um,
Mhm.
I guess
No.
it was around 2004. They
Oh
call it
yeah.
the white. They call it. They said it was like a white Tic Tac the size of a car, and it was doing all these things at night. And it seems to be the most legitimate. I mean, everyone's talking about it, especially lately. It seems to linger, and there's more stuff being leaked about it. Do you know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
Right. Yeah. I know specifically what you're talking about because
Okay.
that video is taken in the country that or the nation that I love, Puerto Rico.
Mm,
Hopefully, one day we rise and become a nation. But um, there is the lowest trenches, okay, in Puerto Rico and in China. Those are the areas that have the deepest depth.
yeah.
There is no deeper, right? I forgot
Mhm.
what they called them. Maybe dragon. I don't know. I forgot what it was, but that might be just the Chinese area. But the deepest parts of the ocean. Puerto Rican people have known about aliens, all this stuff for years and years. There's abduction stories
Yeah.
online. 1980. You can find all these different things with people on that area. So that tells you that the peoples know it. The government knows it. The government releases this. What could it be? That is a thing that we will have to discuss. But the government knows far more than it's telling us. That's an obvious. I would make that. I would put that into our calculations. I feel that aliens are real 100%. And I won't get any deeper than that, but I will. I have worked with all these UFO groups as many as I can. Stephen Greer. I use the protocols of Stephen Greer,
Mm.
and the release of that tape as well. But the release of that tape as well was not done directly from the government.
No,
It
no, it
was it
wasn't.
was yeah, it was given to this guy, which I believe is a Fed.
Yeah, I've seen
A
that
lot of
bouncing
people believe
around.
this, right?
Yeah, I've
And
seen that bouncing around too.
yeah, so it's a it's a web, but I feel like there's legitimacy that there is aliens, and
Yeah.
there's legitimacy that the government has technology that is similar or even is what we've been seeing in the skies.
Jason Bardo X. Sometimes I think like we are also possibly glitches in the matrix. Like it's like some of this UFO, Bermuda Triangle, wherever you want to take it, Bigfoot. I think sometimes there are glitches in the matrix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the simulation theory, right? So am I saying that right? Doesn't have a problem with that word, but
I think sometimes what we see as humans um, could be not what we're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Um, Aberrations in a way. Does that make sense? Like when
I mean,
several people can see the same ghost, but not everyone sees that ghost. Does that make sense?
in my experience, yes.
Okay. I don't have anyone to talk to about this stuff. Like you're the first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's.
Yeah, I've always been into uh, learning as much as I can, and that leads me to learn alternative viewpoints on history, on
Yeah.
science, everywhere I can. So that kind of, and when we come, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm sure I've mentioned it. I did paranormal research for 15 years.
Mhm.
So,
Well, back to cloning.
right.
Same thing. Yeah. Let's get back to cloning. Like,
Okay.
um, so we've kind of feel like this is going on. We don't. They're 100 years ahead. Some information. I mean, usually information doesn't leak, but there are some cracks. So let's say it's capable. It's possible. What would be the advantage to clone Jamie Foxx?
I think it's obvious that one of the most important parts of the structure of control in this system is
Mm,
media, is your eyes. The battlefield is not a web, it's in your mind.
okay.
It's in your mind. That's the real battlefield. It's that control over your will. They need you to submit your will. That's why they all say what they're going to do because they need you to give up your will to allow them to do it because they just can't do anything unless we give our will and our consent. And we're giving it because we are laying down when it's time to stand up. I mean, I think anyone, whatever side you're on, feels that way, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, structurally. But the cloning process, like I said, like I was just bringing up real, real things. If you can make a human genetic, uh, you know, splicing with a cow to produce human breast milk so
Mm,
that it could be sold in the market,
mhm.
it tells you that they have the ability because they can get there to clone, and they already showed us they can. And so I'm just setting that up, and on top of it, like I said, these are media figures. This is big money. Jamie
I
Foxx is
got you.
huge
Okay.
money.
That answered my question.
Whitney. I mean, any of these people.
All right. Let's go down. Let's go down a list. Well, who are some celebrities that have been on your radar as being clones?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle's a clone.
Dave Chappelle.
Interesting. I've never heard that one.
I'm a little joshing, but I'm also aware that it's possible. You know, a little joshing.
Okay. That was a joke, or are you serious?
It's a little bit of a josh because I don't know, but
no, but you.
I've seen some things. He's on the radar. That's what I'm
asking. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. But whether I endorse it, not yet.
Okay. So it has been put out there that's okay.
I heard his family member talk about how he's changed and that he's not the same person. She knows he's a clone. All that stuff.
Okay.
It was white. It was white from the internet. I think.
Who else? I got one.
Go ahead. Drop it.
I think this is the first one. Paul McCartney.
Oh, whoa! Oh, that's an interesting. Yeah, that.
Have you not heard that?
Yes, I heard he died, but I never thought could he have been cloned.
Well, a lot of people say that the Paul McCartney we know today is the second Paul McCartney.
Right. That's interesting.
Maybe not a clone, but a body double.
Right. That's what they going along with. That's the conspiracy theory on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that goes way back. I mean, we're talking like, there's a point in time early on in our career where they say the switch happened, and it was very, very early on. I remember really starting to go down this rabbit hole a little bit, and when it first came out on my personal radar is Hillary Clinton. What?
Kind of witchy. She's a witchy woman.
But do you remember seeing like clone accusations being made when she was running for president?
For her?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You haven't heard
really.
That?
Not really.
Okay, that's cool.
But I've heard yes for Joe Biden, 100%. I've heard that over and over.
I've been seeing that.
I heard something weird too. That
yeah, me too.
That the cloning process has a bit of a fail in it. That once you duplicate it over and over, that the clone becomes less capable of acting and or mimicking what its genetic predecessor, did or does. So they say there's a flaw in that. There's also people I've heard that believe that he's some kind of robot. There's also the whole lizard thing because he was rubbing his face and his skin folded up like it was.
I saw that when he scratched the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out on this. Hear me out.
Right. Let's get it.
Hear me out on this.
Right.
I'm more in tune with the body doubles than I am the cloning. Like I could see the body doubles happening, and I'm thinking maybe that was a mask. Like with President of the United States, they special effects. They made a mask, and that was the one thing that possibly remember DeMar Hamel, the Bills player that had a heart attack on the field.
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of people were saying that what we're saying.
Yeah,
what you were saying.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
What we're talking about. I'm not endorsing anything. We're just talking about what I've heard.
No, I could see that one being a cover up because of the
definitely.
V.
Come on.
The V and the C.
Yeah, come on. That's.
But let me play.
How much money would you put down? That's all we got to talk about. How much money would you put down? Because it's so obviously something. Is it clone? I don't know, but that's something been brought up.
What if? Let me play the devil's advocate and bring a little of that into the show. nozredna Bardo. What if it's? Let me think how I want to say this. What if it's a little bit of both? What if he really did have a heart attack? He really did almost pass. He didn't. But they rushed him out too soon to cover up the fact that it was much worse than it appeared, and to take, you know.
So like the 6 day kind of, remember the movie 6 Day, in which this man had created cloning to save his wife, and it gets into an industry, becomes a big thing, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger something goes after him because he was cloned, and now he survived. So there's a clone of him, and the whole thing. The point gets to where the guy who made it gets his ability to clone himself gets destroyed, and all he has left, and he's doing a soul transfer. This is the point why I'm bringing this up too, because there is that thing of them saying that you could reanimate a soul, and this ties in with the alien thing. When you talk about the praying mantis, when you talk about abductions, a great many of them, especially the earlier times, 70s, talk about that the aliens are putting souls into people. They have the technology to pull a soul out and put it into another body, and that, and even this was raised by I forgot, it's a prominent one, abduction, but it talks about that they're putting souls into the bodies extra. Wow. Like there's two souls in one body, so it's interesting.
Like, yeah, this is souls,
right, that they can hide, that are they and also that they call our bodies what's it called, I forgot what it was now, but
we have a term for that here as humans in the in our society and culture as a human race. You know what that is?
Not off the head. Go ahead.
Marriage.
The perfect assimilation.
There you go. You become one. Instead of two assholes, you become one asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what Terminator was really about. Deep, some meta deep view of it. But yeah, so like the clone, he only has this really clone that isn't fully developed, and he transfers his soul in the movie, and he dies. But that's interesting because I totally believe that that's possible. Do we have technology? I don't know. Are aliens giving us this technology, allowing a certain group? Possibly. Who's to say? It's talked about.
Did you see a movie called Free Jack with Emilio Estevez and Mick Jagger by any chance?
Over and over. What do you mean?
That's similar to what we're talking about, but it was man doing it through time travel somehow.
That's so awesome. I love those movies with time travel. We got to do a time travel episode.
I do too. I don't know if I can have much of that one.
Yeah, well, I got a whole bunch on that, so we can rock that. So anyone listening, we probably going to have that episode as well. There's so much we could introduce.
I could talk about all this stuff now. I mean, I'm leaning more. So we've kind of thrown a couple of subjects out there. We've talked about cloning, which genetic cloning. We talked about cloning genetic DNA and souls. We've talked about animal and human DNA splicing, cloning. And we've talked about, you brought up the lizard thing. A lot of people don't know about this. You want to talk about that? You said you said he.
How much do you know about it?
I mean, there was a book I read once, and it was called The Palladian Mission. Have you heard of that book? Or you know what the Palladians are?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Like, that seems feasible to me. That so this isn't too far from that, I guess you'd say. But what do I know about it? It's basically that they're aliens disguised as humans walking among us. And the characteristic is they're lizard people. They're like lizard skin under human skin. Is that accurate?
Well, I mean, from what I've heard from people, from video of eye movements where the retina disappears, and now you see what is a, I guess, reptilian looking eye.
Yeah.
Those videos are out there. Also, there's also videos
Mm-hmm.
On people working for government three-letter groups. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
them taking pictures of those people and those people being able to alter themselves. There's also, and this
So
is another time.
shapeshifters,
Yes,
right?
right. This is the it all. You see, okay. See how everything ties in, right? You see how it all there is a
No.
through line, and that comes to head at at the ranch. You know what ranch I'm talking about, right?
Let me think. Sounds familiar. Skinwalker Ranch?
Skinwalker Ranch. Because
I got it. Ding
yes,
ding.
you did.
Do you have a
Boom.
sound effect?
Yeah, he did it. He did get that though. Yeah, Skin Ranch.
I'm telling you, Nas. I have my antennas out all the time, man.
Picking up those extra the radio waves.
Yeah, I
Uh,
picked it up with you. I picked it up on
yeah,
you.
it's it's fun to talk about. We're just
Mhm.
talking, you know.
Yes, yeah, but some people see it as
But
just
but we had brought up one subject, didn't we?
okay. Go
What was
ahead.
that subject we were just on? We were going to address that. Oh, shape shifting, right?
Yeah.
So we do know that there are programs like the movie Men Who Stare at Ghosts. Those programs there also had you could go download these, and I have these files, and I study them and use them on remote viewing, on creating this new peace group. It's really what I look at the texts is the exercises and stuff like that. Their philosophy, I don't know, but CIA group created separate because a man had noticed that many people were firing above the enemy in war, and then the enemy also shooting above. And he noticed that this was happening a lot in when he was in Nam. He was in Nam. I saw a lot of
Yeah.
things, couple things, bad things.
Hey,
Um,
when I grew up, like, not to hold your thought, Vietnam movies. That was like what I in the '80s when I grew up. But anyway, go ahead.
man, I remember 4th of July when that came out with Tom Cruise. That was his best film, really. You think about it. I felt.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, coming
Shape
back.
shift.
Yeah, coming back from Nam, he created all these programs, and they were trying to use the mind to not only shapeshift your face. There's a thing called twinkle eyes, where you
Hmm.
can hypnotize someone, and you use these methods to make an actual twinkle in your eye. I mean, it sounds absolutely absurd and crazy, but it would be that if this is completely provable. There's a PDF file on there. There's movies on it. It's released. I mean, there's that one right there. It's for sure. I've used the remote viewing practices and
Ooh,
have found have found them to be one of the most important and enlightening tools that I have used.
is that right?
Fact, 100% fact, and that's a fact, Chad.
Um, Remote viewing. How? Through what? A tool or through your mind?
Well, I also, I don't limit myself. So Edgar Casey, I
Mm.
use some of his methods. Well, his methods were actually very, very good. Very, that's a big tool too. So I mixed them, but they also learned from the same person I'm talking about, Edgar Casey. So I already knew the root of it, and they had taken his work and others and created a system and duplicated it with with people that they got to do it, and all types of things were said that were accomplished. And but there's a totally traceable, totally viewable. The New Earth Army, I believe, maybe PDF file. I gotta know what the name is exactly. The New Earth Army. But you look at men who stare at goats. You look around that, you'll find the whole thing.
All right. What about reptilians?
Reptilians. I don't know. I've never seen one, but but
You haven't seen a crocodile or alligator?
I don't look at them. No, no reptilians. There's no reptilians around. I've never seen one. Uh,
That you know
I
of.
hear. Yeah, I know exactly. Maybe there is. I've heard the Hillary Clinton is a reptilian, of
Hmm.
course. She's
You know,
definitely. Go ahead.
you don't know what you can believe these days, but I remember there was videos of her like spitting out this green blob in water. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What is that? What is your opinion on that?
Well, I've heard that they don't eat our food. That a lot of their food is liquid shit.
Oh,
Excuse my French, but um, so that's a possibility. I've heard. I
hmm.
don't know if that's any. There's there's no
It's
exact
certainly not. It's certainly odd. I'll tell you that.
dude. There's so many odd things about her. Remember the brain? There was also the whole thing where she's hypnotized. And you ever heard that? That I know that. What's her name?
Mhm.
Kamamalaba, Chameleon.
And vice
What's her
president.
name? Yeah, the
Yeah.
vice president. Yeah. She had many incidents that just scream of the signs of hypnosis.
Hmm.
A lot of
I can
people
see
point this
that.
out. Yeah,
I can see
major
that.
figures in movements, even to the communist movement, even have suggested such things and have brought them up, and so it's out there. People
But
think
man,
this.
there's so much stuff that you're bringing up. But the remote viewing is super interesting to me. We
Oof.
just need. I think we touched on a lot of good things to give people an idea of things that we could go into and we want to go into in the future shows.
Right, right. That's
Not
why
that
it's a
far.
teaser. That's why it's a teaser, isn't it? The perfect
Yeah,
teaser.
yeah. Um,
Perfect teaser.
there's a lot. There's a lot. Let's just make a definitive decision. I'm going to tell you my opinion on Jamie Foxx. We're going to bring it back to where we started, and you're going to let me know what you think if Jamie Foxx is a clone or not. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Yeah. Oh, but can I introduce that he possibly could be AI?
Well, yeah, you can go on that. You could do that in your explanation.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um, but I'm putting you on the spot. We both are put on the spot.
All right.
What do we think? So, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Um, you go first,
Okay,
because
I'll go
everybody
first.
thinks I'm going to say something I'm not.
Okay, maybe not. But I don't believe he's a clone. I'm just on this case alone. Um, people are talking about how light his skin is. That's one thing. The other thing is how thin he looks. I think his eyes look the same. Now, as a person who has been in the ICU, very sick, those things happen. You lose a lot of weight, you lose a lot of skin color, and it changes the way you look. Like coming out of that situation, I look so much different than I look now. So having a pick of the way you were when you were healthy and the way you were after you've been in ICU for a month, and then having to go through rehab to walk again for a month, so that's what I think. Not going too into it. I just think, yeah, I'm not saying it's not possible. I just don't think this is good because it's bringing up the discussion, but I don't think it's the best case. It's the best evidence of it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, your opinion is as good as mine. I think. I mean, I do know quite a bit, but like I will lean to this.
Mm-hmm.
There is not enough evidence for me to say that Jamie Foxx is actually a clone. But I would not count that theory out. And I will say that it is super shady because you have videos being released. Then later on, the daughter saying, no, this video is from a prior hospitalization, when it was stated that this was a video from this one. So there's been deception by the family as far as I see. Uh, what would it be called? This is my
Bait and
opinion.
switch.
Yeah, yeah. So you got family, got lots of money. Very likely that the daughter who's running everything would choose, to let the old guy go. Who knows if he was even good to her? But this is all circumstance. This is all theory. But I have to lean as a person that says, okay, for sure, is there something? I have to lean and say the evidence is not all there. We have a lot of people talking, and I think there is truths to what we're capable of.
Yeah,
With genetic modification and cloning.
that's good. I think what it also comes down. I think you said something in there, and money is what you said, and that's the
Yes.
biggest part of it all. Are you worth more alive or dead when you're one of them?
Right.
You know,
It, it's the
when,
AI thing too, because remember the strike that came up.
yeah,
They are taking video recordings of stars and not paying them and putting them into movies. Just recording their bodies in AIs, and now they can
yeah,
put them in every movie, kind of like they did Marlon Brando for Superman. So and now they got the license for Morgan Freeman. You heard that one, right? They licensed him.
no, I didn't
Sa-
know that.
Same thing with Russia, and I think he just died with Bruce Willis, right?
No, I don't think he
Yeah.
died yet.
Well, his rights are sold. They're in his likeness, his physical form are in
Yeah,
videos in Russia.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That's interesting. So they're going to keep doing movies with
right.
him.
So that's why I say he could be AI. That's a
Mm.
possibility as well. Throwing it out there. The big net.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of monetary motivation to do something like this. That's got to be the main reason, right?
And control. Control is more
Yeah,
important.
yeah, control. That
Money's important
reminds
to
me,
us. Money's important to us, not them.
but I
They
haven't
grow it.
watched.
They grow it. They own the bank. They own the machines that make it.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't watched it yet, but or I don't know where I saw the article or something, but it's called the Death Clause, and it's what all these musicians have in their entertainment or record deal. Have you heard of the Death Clause? What that is?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you
And
could
it's in
probably
every
describe.
deal. It's in every deal. And you've got even when you work at, let's say you work at Publix, everybody, they've got peasants insurance, life insurance on you.
Mm, mm.
So it's called peasant life insurance. Look it up. Peasant life. Remember everything I say. Look it up.
Well, say it. What is the Death Clause, so people can get an idea of what we're talking
Well, I
about?
don't
Just
know
it sounds
exactly the
interesting.
wordage of it,
But what's
but
the?
I've heard of it. I've heard it
It's
being a thing.
basically
Like
saying like
if you
if you're
die,
under
right,
contract and you die, we own
right,
everything.
they get it's like the catalog for Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
See, we're throwing everything in this teaser, aren't we? Huh? These
Yeah.
are all the things that will be available to you on shows coming up. So think about that. Just touching it right now.
Oh yeah. There's a lot I want to go into. There's some 9/11 stuff I wouldn't
Woo,
mind getting into.
definitely, we need to backtrack on that. There's a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I just look at it this way.
right.
I'm open to theories.
Me too.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to rule out anything. I'm gonna let me see what this point of view is. Let me see what this theory is. So I will go and I will go down these roads and
Yeah. We're gonna go together and we're gonna give our opinions. Maybe even they'll change after years of looking at it. So it's gonna be interesting.
I'd like to do another show where we bring up more clone people, like who was
Yeah,
that congressman Wetterman or something like that? What was his name? David Fetterman.
Yeah,
There
Fetterman.
was a lot of rub.
John Fetterman, I think.
John Fetterman. There was a lot of rub there. When he had some sort of like,
So
they weren't really saying, but I think they were alluding that it was a mental episode. All I saw through my lens was the fact that he got ill or something happened. He needed a break. Sounded like it wasn't physical. He comes back. They say he was acting odd before. He comes back, or depression, I think it might have been called. He comes back super lean, looks a lot different.
Yeah.
Now, there's speculation there. That's all I got. That's a setup for me.
That's a really kind of like old idea about like he completely changes. So we have that, and I feel like because it's older, that there's more evidence, and I would lean that yes, something has been altered there. We don't know how far genetic modification has gotten. You don't know any of this.
What do you think happened with Mitch McConnell today?
I guess his expiration date.
Is that what it is? Did he die?
No, I mean he had a stroke, right? A heart attack or something like that.
Okay, all right. I respect that. I respect the fact that you didn't say he was being like MK Ultra or something.
Of course, they're all MK Ultra. I was MK Ultra.
Did you know that? I was expecting you to say that, and you're like, "No, he just had a heart attack." I'm like, "Oh, okay." You threw me for a loop there, which is good. I like it. All right, I gotta get some sleep. It's Art Bell. We're doing Art Bell hours here.
Okay, guys, this is the wrap. Me and Nas are heading out, but the conversation is still there. And we're coming back to have deeper discussions on all these issues, right, Nas?
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface. We could have went in 8 different directions tonight in much more detail.
Oh yeah. So hit us back up, and we're tuning out.
I like it. Let's go.
All right. Good night, brother.
Good night.